from Tammy's Homesteading Crafts. Today we're in the YouTube corner where I like to come to you guys twice a month for a knitting podcast. Today's podcast we are going to go over, it's going to kind of be like a year in review of the knitting projects that I've done. I'm also going to show you where I've gotten on the knitting projects that I'm doing, but I'm going to go over and talk about the knitting that I got done this year. Actually, I was very surprised of how much knitting I got done this year, but we will talk about that when we get into it. So that's what today's video is. If you guys are interested in any of this, stick around. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to welcome all of you to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate every one of you that stop by each week and watch my videos, comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. For those of you who this might be the very first video that you are watching, I hope you enjoy the content. And consider subscribing to my channel. It does not cost you anything to subscribe to a YouTuber's channel, and it does benefit them by you subscribing to their channel. Okay, so let's get into our podcast. Okay, so the first thing we do usually with a knit podcast is I will talk about what we have going on into the website, my website that I have, tammyshomesteadingcrafts.com, where I sell project bags, stitch stoppers, stitch markers, and fun things like that. Really not a whole lot of updates to them. We have no new bags to show. I've taken off the last month for just relaxing, trying to get knitting done for the end of the year and getting myself ready to gear up for a new year of sewing and getting all of my trunk shows scheduled for next year. So just taking a little bit of time off and just trying to relax a little bit. Been doing some sewing here and there, but no making bags or anything like that. The only thing new that I have into the shop is we have a new stitch stopper, and I was looking for these the last time I got one of them, but I couldn't find them, and I finally found them. So now I have Papa Smurf and Smurfette, and these will be available starting the day this airs. Actually, should say today is, December 23rd. This will air on December 29th. So while I'm thinking of that, December 23rd, it is going to be before Christmas, so I'm going to say Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday with your family and friends, the ones that you want to spend your time with. And then I'm also going to say Happy New Year, because we are going to have the New Year's is going to be just around the corner after this airs, and I hope you guys have a safe and happy New Year and ring in 2025 with a bang, and we can start out on some new knitting projects and some new ideas for all kinds of things. So there we go. I've got that in today. But that is the little Papa Smurf and Smurfette are the only two that I have new into the shop right now. We are going to be getting in some Valentine's Day ones, some St. Patty's Day ones, and some Easter ones. I have them coming. I just have to get them pictured and get them onto the website. So those will be coming along with some bags to coordinate with them as well into the new year. But that's not going to happen until after the first of the year. Also, the other thing, since we are on Tammy's Homesteading Crafts, we still have a sale going on until the end of the year. So December 31st is the last day of our sale. So today's the 29th that this airs. You still have 3 more days to purchase 20% off. The code will be down in the description below, guys. Take advantage of it. There's still quite a few bags in the shop that you can get 20% off of. So head on over to the website and see what we still have available so that you can get it. It's also off of the stitch stoppers as well. Those are really, really cute. They make great stocking stuffers. I know now it's after Christmas, but you know what? People have gotten you gift cards, or, being able to just give you money or something. You can turn around and order some stitch markers for yourself and enjoy. They're fun little things to add to all of your knitting. Okay, so I guess that is it for what we have going on at Tammy's Homesteading Crafts. Like I said, there's not a whole lot. We will have a whole lot more after the first of the year with everything going on when we do that podcast for there. But as of right now, that is all I have for Tammy's Homesteading Crafts. So let's go into, I will show you all of my whips, and then we will get into what our knitting is showing, what we've done in our knitting this year. Okay, so our daily knit wrap that we're doing, let me get my glasses on here so I can see what I'm talking about. We got, we were in the middle of this. Where's our, I don't even know where our marker is. It must have gotten taken out. Oh no, here it is. So we were in the middle of this red and green color here. We were right there. We got rid of that and we got into a purple color. Just working on that. We are on December 6th. Didn't get as much done as I wanted to on it. I still have quite a bit in this cake to go through. I think once I'm done with this cake, I'm not going to add too much more into it unless I have some fingering weight that is not enough to do maybe 2 cuffs or 2 heels or 2 toes. If it's just not enough to do anything, or it's not a color that I think I would use, I might add it in. We are definitely going to be going into January with this, working it out, because it's just really not very long right yet. And I want it kind of long and airy that I can wrap it around a couple of times and get it to be nice and warm. Just working on it. I haven't had a lot of time to knit in the office. Most of my meetings have been in person in the last couple of weeks, so I've been out of the office a lot. I'm gonna start to try to take, I normally don't take lunch while I'm at work, but I'm going to try to make myself take a 30-minute lunch break and sit down and knit for 30 minutes and try to get myself caught up. I would like to go into the new year starting the new calendar, or restarting the calendar for January. That's what I would like. So I've got quite a bit to do to get myself caught up on that. But that's where we're at with that. It's working. I like it, and it's just gonna, once I'm done with that skein of yarn, I'll look at my container here that I have all of my little sock yarn in, and if I have any that is just a little bit, that it's not going to be a whole lot for anything, because once you start, it might look like a lot, but when you separate it into 2 cakes, it's not really that much, and it's like, okay, is it worth the switch all the time? Is it a color that I would want in a pair of socks? Do I have another color that would go with it in a pair of socks? Which, I really don't care what the socks look like. Nobody really sees the socks. I just like, I don't mind how wild they are. It doesn't bother me at all. But, we'll see what we're going to do with that. But that's where we're at. Possibly just getting the roll that's there in it and not doing anything else. Okay, so the next thing that's been on the needles the longest, and I don't know, it might be a toss-up between the two, but I'm going to go with my cardigan. It has been, actually I think my treasure trove was on the needles before them, but whatever. They're about the same. My cardigan, I had it separated for sleeves, and I had just separated for sleeves. So I got quite a bit of the sleeves on there. Both sleeves, they're 2 at a time. They're that long. They come actually right down here, just past my elbow when I try them on. I'm getting close to being done with the sleeves. Have not done any more to the body of the sweater itself. Just really want to get the sleeves done, get them bound off, and then try the sweater on to see where it lays, how it lays, and how much longer I want it once I do that, because it is not in the round, it's just back and forth. So once I get the sleeves done and off, I do, however, have more stitches for my sleeves than I'm supposed to, but it is okay because they're kind of tight. They're not as loose as I would like them. I mean, they're going to stretch, yes, but as far as right now, they're not as giving as I would like them to be. So I'm okay with having the extra, I think there's almost 10 to 12 extra stitches on there, which is okay. I'm still decreasing, but I'm not going to decrease as many, I don't think. We'll see. I'm going to keep trying it on. I usually, because they're 2 at a time, I wait till I have the, you know, only one needle on each thing. And that way I can, they're separated and I can try the needle, the sleeve on without unstitching or pulling something out or whatever. But, yeah, so, and I have plenty of yarn. I got another skein when I was at, Longtail Knits for my trunk show. She had it held for me. So I have 2 full skeins that I haven't even caked up. And then I have a skein in here for the body of my sweater and to possibly do the ribbing on that. And I have 2 skeins where I'm working out of my sleeves, which I won't use all of these. So I have quite a bit of yarn, but the ribbing on the side is quite a thick. It's 6 or 8 inches wide, and it's fisherman's rib. It's something I've never done, so it's going to take me a little bit because you got to pick it all up, and then the way you knit yours on and then go back and forth and do that, it's going to be a little bit different for me to do. So I don't know. I'll figure it out. I really will. It's just one of those things I've got to sit and do it. I want it that way. There we go. Sorry, I had something pushed another way. But yeah, so that's where we're at with the cardigan. We are getting quite a bit done on it. We have been working on it pretty much every day, a little bit each day. But yeah, it's hopefully, I would love that to be done by the end of the year, but I don't think it's going to be. Okay, my treasure trove wrap. This is getting a little bit long. So we have our colors. We're now into our orange. So we're variegating with our orange and our variegate. So we're alternating those until we get just straight into our orange. So we only have 2 colors left. This is our very last color that we're going to, this one might be showing better. The last color that we're going to use for our color. I'm hoping I have the camera, I feel really far away from the camera, but I'm hoping that maybe colors show up a little bit better by not putting it so close into the camera. I'm trying to just cover the lens so that you guys can see it and it focuses on it, but we'll know when I edit. But yeah, so right now we're just almost done with our variegate that we have. So once this is done, we will do solid in the orange until we get to how many, we're doing like 12 or 13 of these. I think I did 13 on this because I didn't count and I already had it done and I was not taking it back. It's a little bit tricky to take back on this one without losing your stitches. So I was like, you know what? It's not going to matter. It's just 1 extra row in there. It's not going to be a big deal. But we have gotten quite a ways. We were here, so we're here. We've done quite a bit in the last 2 weeks. Not as much as I wanted. I've trying to sit down and do 1 whole repeat, which is 6 rows every day. Get up, get in the morning. Now that I'm done with the black, I can really see and I have not have a hard time doing this. So I'm trying to get up in the morning, sit down, and do my 6 rows of this and get that done every day. Or after I get out of work, trying to get that done every day. I'm trying to be more, there's a project that I'm loving to work on, and I'm making myself work on this. Do 6 rows of this, do 30 minutes of the sweater before I can start on my other project. But that is my treasure trove, going along really well. It's a good possibility I could get that done for the end of the year. We'll see. Okay, the next project that I have and it's been going really good. I've got quite a bit done on it, is my Relentless tee. I got it separated for sleeves a while ago, and I've just been knitting on it. This is where I was, and that's how much I got done in the past 2 weeks. We've had a couple of trips that I've taken where I just grab this, get in the car, and I get sick when I have to read a pattern or anything in the car, but I've taught myself to just be able to knit without looking, other than maybe look down every now and then, and really feel what I'm doing. So I can now knit in the car because I'm not constantly just looking at what I'm doing. I'm feeling it. So I've been taking this with me a lot lately in the vehicle. And of course, we will be going to New York tomorrow, the 23rd or the 24th, because today is the 23rd. I think I said the 22nd, but today is the 23rd. We'll be going tomorrow, and I will just grab this as a small little bag. A friend of mine gave me this a couple of years ago, maybe it was last year for Christmas, and a little mushroom bag. It holds that really well. One skein of yarn, got my little notions pouch in there, and I can just work on this. I've got to check this compared to my very first rocket tee that I did, because I actually have quite a bit of yarn left in this cake. There is quite a bit of yarn left, and it is gradually changing. It's going to be this really pretty coral color, ready coral color when it's done. And I think that's going to end up being all of my cuff I-cords on the sleeves and then around the neck. And I'm okay with that. So that's where I've at, but I've got to figure out the length of my rocket tee, my very first one that I did, because I did that one longer, and I like the longer rocket tee where I can wear it with, and I think this is going to be a little bit bigger of a sweater because this yarn is a little thicker than what it feels like fingering, but it's actually probably more of a sport weight, and it's a little bit bigger than what I was expecting it to be. It's a little bit looser, I guess. And so I want to be able to, I'll probably be able to wear a turtleneck under this and maybe wear it in, 3 seasons. Put a tank top under it in the spring, and put a long sleeve t-shirt or a turtleneck under it in the wintertime with some leggings or something like that. So that's my plan on this. So I want to make sure I have it long enough to go with that, and then put a nice ribbing. I would like this time, instead of just an inch ribbing, I would like at least a 2-inch ribbing on the bottom of the sweater. So I got to keep that in mind, measure it against my rocket tee to see where I'm at before I needed to start doing the ribbing. I like the length that one is, so I don't want to really go any longer than that, so I can figure out where I need to be. But that's what I'll do after today, because I have everything right here with me, and I will measure everything so I know what I need to do with that. I'll write the information, I'll put it in my little notions pouch in there so that I have it on paper, because I don't need to take my tablet with me when I go with this, because it's just knitting. When I get to a certain length, and I have a tape measure in there, when I get to a certain length, then I'm going to start my ribbing, and it's a 2x2 rib. I don't need anything to do that. I know I'm going to do it 2 inches, so I just measure until I get it to that point. Then I will do my I-cord, and I don't need to figure those out. My sleeves are live, so those won't be too bad when I go to do the I-cord on those. They've already got live stitches, except for what I picked up under the arm. So I just have to pick those ones up there, not a big deal. But so that's where we are with our Relentless tee. This one, really good possibility that I could get it done by the end of the year. I hope. I'm going to, after Christmas, I think I'm going to settle down and try to get as much as I can done in the next you know, right after Christmas. Christmas Day is kind of a very relaxed day for us here. We don't do anything. Our Christmas is Christmas Eve, and it's just very relaxing Christmas Day. And I just plan on doing a lot of knitting and getting some stuff done and off the needles. Okay, so the very last thing that I have on the needles, it's not the very last thing. Well, it is now. I had socks for my mom on the needles, and I didn't work on them at all until just yesterday. And I thought, well, I will work on these for a little bit. They're on magic loop. I went to pull my magic loop, and I pulled the wrong one and pulled the needle right out of the stitches. So I took it off and restarted it, just because I was not gonna have to deal with it. But so these are the only ones that I have on the needles. Okay, so this last thing I have on the needles is my Fa La 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 fade that I am doing with Cornbread and Honey's Baja Advent from 2023. So this is what I've got so far. Very pretty. I love it. I've got over 500 stitches on here. I really needed a longer cord, and I just didn't have one and wasn't going to go buy one. I figured at this point, I'm almost done. I am into 24. This is the last little bit of 23 that I have, and then into 24, and then 25. So I am almost done with this. This will definitely be done. It might even be done today after I get done videoing, because I am loving working on this. This has been, for me, has been a very good palette cleanse for me as far as all the sweaters that I've been doing. I was just kind of at wit's end when I started this, and it was just kind of, it's an easy pattern. It is really easy. It's just, you have to pay attention. You have to know and mark where you're at all the time. But it's just, it was very easy to follow, to remember, and it was the colors changing, and I absolutely loved it. I had so much fun working on it. So this will definitely be done before the end of the year. But yes, very, very happy with this. It is a DK weight shawl. I normally don't do DK weight shawls because they're usually too warm for me. But I figured what I'm going to do with this one, when I know I'm going to somebody's place and I don't know how warm or cold it's going to be, I can wear that as my scarf, have it on my shoulders as my shawl while I'm there. If I'm hot, I can take it off. Or I can open it up and just have it draped on my shoulders, or I can have it wrapped up around me. I have plenty of different ways to wear it. So that's what I figure I'm going to do with that. I don't, like I said, I don't wear a ton of DK weight shawls because usually I get a little bit too warm, but that's what I plan on doing with that. I really love the colors, very bright, can go with pretty much anything, but that will definitely be done before the end of 2024. Okay, so that is all of the projects that I have on the needles, and hoping to get 3 of the 5 done for the end of the year. I would love to see of course, my Fa La 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 shawl will definitely be done. I would love to see my Relentless tee be done, and I would love to see my Treasure Trove wrap done. I don't think I'm going to get my cardigan done. I probably have the sleeves done and maybe a good portion of the body and maybe the ribbing done on the bottom. But that ribbing and binding across, because it goes up this one side around, it's a nice thick 6-8 inch collar that you can make that as big as you want. And that's the other thing. I have to try it on and see where it fits and how much of a collar I really want of that. So that will definitely not get finished, but it hopefully will be done so that I can possibly wear it maybe in the spring with as a coat in the spring when I go places. So that's my plan at that. I possibly could get it done by the end of January, but I'm not counting anything. I've got a couple of different things that I want to do, and we'll talk about them here. Actually, we'll talk about what I want to do in our first film in January of the new things that I want to cast on. But yeah, I've got a lot of acquisitions that I want to show and different things. But that is it for the knitted projects that we have on the needles. Let's talk about how many projects we got done this year. Okay, so we ended up getting quite a few projects done. And one of the ways that I started watching my projects was through Ravelry. I never knew there was this section in Ravelry, and I'm going to show you guys what I found in Ravelry to be able to allow me to track and challenge myself for knitting projects. So let me get you into Ravelry and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so we all know Ravelry if we haven't. This is just the blank beginning page of Ravelry. You want to go over here to where it says Notebook. And then under that drop down, you will see Projects. You go into your projects. This is where you can create and do all of the projects that you have in Ravelry. You can keep them there so that you know what you're doing, and it just allows you, and it keeps track of them for you. What I didn't realize, we have these icons over here. So we have projects. I have 88 projects completed or in progress in there. There's an index, there's an organize, and there's a challenge. And I was like, what is challenge? So I pulled up challenge, and in your Ravelry, you're able to challenge yourself to goals for the year. So 2024 Ravelry Project Challenge. I'd like to complete, and you can, when you hit change goals, it allows you to set the number of goals that you want. Okay, we're going to go back because I don't want to change that. Okay. So I started out and I was like, well, you know, I'm going to do 20 projects. That just gives me something. I had no idea how many projects I was finishing in a year because I give a lot of them away. And at the end of the year, it doesn't seem like I have very many projects. So I wanted to try to keep track of how many projects I was giving away. Now, this does require you to open up a project page in Ravelry and use the project page in Ravelry to keep track of all of your projects. I still am not very good at putting notes in. I have the projects open, but I don't put the notes in. I don't usually get more than one, maybe two pictures. I do now have the app on my phone, and it is a lot easier to add pictures with my phone because a lot of times I'm taking the pictures with my phone, and I can just open up Ravelry and just drop in the picture. So I've gotten more pictures in Ravelry lately than I was getting because I was having to install them into the computer and then drop them over, and it's a little time consuming, and I just wasn't doing it. It was taking too much time. But so this is the newest button that I found. So I started out the year with 20 projects, and then in like June or July I surpassed my 20 projects. So then I bumped it up to 35. And as you can see, it says that I finished 37 projects this year. But I'm going to take that back to only 34 because 3 of those projects were not started in 2024. They were started in 2023 and finished in 2024. So I want to see all the projects that I just started and finished in 2024. So that's what we're going to go over today. Most of them, not all of them, but I just thought this was a cute little, different place to be able to go into Ravelry and to challenge yourself to see if you know, and it allows you to figure out and try to use Ravelry a little more. a lot of people use it all the time and they do so much in it, and I've never really done a whole lot in it. I just don't know how, but I'm finding and learning the more project pages I open and the more times I add pictures to it, I'm really not having a hard time figuring things out and figuring out where to put things. So yeah, it really has helped me. So that is my new little thing that I learned in Revelry. So let's start talking about what projects we finished and showing them off. Okay, so let's see where we're at. So the very first project that I cast on for 2024 and finished, so I cast this project on January 1st, 2024, and I finished it January 22nd, 2024. And this was my very first Tunisian crochet project that I did. I had a skein of worsted weight yarn, or DK weight yarn, I guess it was, and I just wanted to see what it was, what I could do. Everybody, the hype was trying to figure out how to Tunisian crochet, and I just wanted to see if I could figure it out. And I just did a asymmetrical or a triangle, and then I took a button and I just sewed it together. So it's just kind of a real loose banana cowl to go on in a coat. So that's my very first thing that I did in 2024. Okay, let's go back out. The second thing that I did in 2024 was, where is it? I got a whole bunch of stuff down here. Here it is this little beanie. This is like my favorite little beanie. I love these. I make them, sometimes I make them a little bit big so they're slouchy. Sometimes I make them so that they just fit my head perfect. And I love these. My friend got me this yarn and I ended up making a bandana cowl out of it. I had this much left. And then I just went and I held this double. It was fingering held double for this. And then I just did the top, the crown, with a tan. I like the way it turned out, kind of cute. Like I said, I really like my hats and I wear them all the time. So this was the second project that I had gotten done. Third project was another little beanie hat. I had made a cowl years ago with this yarn, and it was in my bucket that I was going to use for scraps, and I thought there's a lot of that in there. I can't just put that, there was a lot. So I started holding the two skeins together. So this is 2 skeins of fingering weight, and I just did another little beanie. And again, my favorite little beanie. I have a cowl and a beanie to match. Okay. The fourth is another little beanie. These don't take all that long, so this got my numbers going really, really fast. I was able to get these on the needles. I had a worsted weight skein of blue that I had done a cowl with. This isn't the exact same color, but very similar. I held 2 together, and I just was able to put this out. It was just, just a nice little beanie. Yeah, 2 skeins gives it a nice beanie that you can wear out. It doesn't by any means keep your head from getting cold, but it does allow just to have something on your head. Your ears are by far not keeping wind out, but it's just, just to have a hat on, looks cute. The 5th thing that I got done was my Arcadian cowl. This I got a pattern when I was at the retreat. One of my friends gave me this pattern, and I had one skein of DK weight purple, and it actually is a gift from my mom for Christmas. It'll be after Christmas when she sees this, if she watches. So she's getting that. So I've already got that wrapped up. So that is a gift, but it was had some wasn't cables as much as, let me see, um, there was a wave pattern to it. It was just, it worked in the round, and it went, started out narrow and then it went wider because it's kind of go over your shoulder a little bit to have it a little bit wider. But yeah, that was the yarn from that was from Cornbread Honey, and it was one of her one pot wonders. There was only one skein of it, so I only got one, and I was able to use it all to do this cowl for my mother. So that was the Arcadia cowl. Okay, the next thing that I had started and got finished was my Sweet Mountain wrap. And this was done with a scrappy cake from Cornbread and Honey. And this was a very cool pattern. I learned a lot with this pattern, a lot of different stitches, different stitch patterns, different ways to do things. It was just really, it was a neat pattern, and I loved the way that it, the color changed on me as I went through to do it. I ran out here at the end, and I just had a mini skein of some other color that I just put on the end to finish it out because I couldn't end it right there. That just looked funny. So we added on this other color and we just finished it out till we got to the end of it. But yeah, this was a very fun, nice wrap. It's very long. I'm able to wrap it around a couple of times. And it's a fun little wrap, nice and light. It can be heavy if I need it to, but bright colors, love the way it turned out. Okay, the next thing I did was a pair of socks. Now my socks get worn. I wear my socks all the time, and I don't wash them all the time. They're one of those things that I can wear, and I end up wearing them 4 or 5 times before I wash them. But I have like 12 pairs of socks, so I will wear them, and then I'll turn around and re-wear them, and I'll do before I do a whole sink full of socks. But this was the first pair of socks for the year that I did for myself. I had these already caked up, and I just thought, you know what, I might as well, they're caked, I might as well start knitting them out. And don't even know what color. I think the color is ice cream with sprinkles, but I have no idea what the other 2 colors beside them are. But yeah, I had these already caked up, and I figured I might as well get them done. Like I said, I wear my socks a lot. They are stained because I wear them. We have hardwood floors, and I wear them all the time. These are like my slipper socks. I put them on, and that's what I wear all day long. Okay, so the third, well, not third, but the next thing that I ended up doing was when we went to our retreat in the spring. When we got back, everybody decided they wanted to do this friendship shawl. So we started and did a friendship shawl. I did mine in fingering weight, and I picked 3 colors of fingering weight. Really, absolutely loved these colors. This is one of my favorite colors of scarves that I have. I wear this quite often. It's pretty bright, and I like it. It pops when you put it with black. It pops when you put it with just a darker color shirt, or even the lighter colors. I've worn it quite a bit. I really do like this scarf. When I got done with that, I ended up doing of course, 3 skeins held together. I did myself a hat so that when I was wearing my scarf, I could have a hat on. So I ended up doing a hat. And this is all 3 of those. And this is what I love about when you knit and make things. So this is all those 3 colors. This is those 3 colors held together. And then this is the next thing. This is those colors in socks. So I held the light color by itself with the sock, and then I did the coral and the green, and then this was the, green and the coral. But I ended up getting a shawl, a hat, and socks out of that skein. So that was 3 more projects that I got done. So the next thing that I ended up finishing, and I don't know, I had started it previous, I know, but didn't get it finished right away, and this was my very first rocket tee that I did. This was definitely a learning experience for me to be able to know. I had 2 skeins of this solid color, the main color. I had 2 skeins of that, and I wanted to know how long I can make, can I make a decent length shirt, t-shirt for myself with 2 skeins of fingering, and then how much does it take to do the I-cord around it? Well, I would easily be able to do probably a 2-inch ribbing on the bottom and the I-cord on that with 20 grams, because I had a 100-gram cake that I used, and there's still 90 grams left. So I had only used 10 grams to do the I-cord and the ribbing on this sweater. So this is the one I'm going to measure against my Relentless tee to make sure I know the length of it so that I can decide what I want to do. But this is nice and long so that I can wear it. I've got a long sleeve t-shirt that is this light green color that I can put on underneath it and wear it as a 3-season shirt, or even 4 seasons. I can wear it spring, summer, fall. Because I can put it with leggings, I can put it with capris, one or the other. But yes, I absolutely love this. It was my first one. It fits really well, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Okay, so the next thing that I got done was this Tunisian cowl. This was the next cowl that I had learned to do Tunisian. I really wanted it to do in the round, and I was having a hard time doing it in the round. I do like the way it finally knitted out, but I was having a really hard time with it in the beginning. Was not happy with it. Still really not happy with the seam down the back, but if you wear it to the front and it's all bunched up, your hair's on the back, nobody's going to see that seam down the back. But I love the way the pattern is. I really like that, it almost looks like a mermaid pattern, and I really liked the pattern, and that is why I chose to knit this pattern. Okay, the next thing was my Stormy Sky shawl. When I was in Tennessee, I saw this shawl on the wall, very pretty, loved it. And I had gotten a skein of yarn, and I don't know, it was a mystery skein, I think. I don't know what this skein was from. Oh, it was her birthday skein. That's what this was. This was Cornbread Honey's birthday skein that I ended up getting, and I did this Stormy Sky shawl. It has some drop stitches, and this was definitely another learning shawl that I did, and I liked it. I had a lot of fun doing it. I've done a lot of different things this year and learned a lot of new stitches, and I absolutely love this. I have a ton of shawls that I have to start wearing on a regular basis, and I just don't go that many places to wear them. But that was my Stormy Sky shawl that I ended up doing. Okay, the next thing that I ended up starting and doing is when we had local yarn store day, and I was at Cornbread Honey, and she had this color here as her local yarn store colorway that she was selling, and I found this turquoise to go with it, and this was the local yarn store color or local yarn store pattern that they gave away that day. So this is this is what I wanted to do. It was done in the round, a nice ribbing and very fun pattern. I loved it, the way it turned out. Really happy with it. And of course, I was able to get another beanie, held the two double, and this, like again, this is these two colors held double. They look totally different. And then let me take off, I got them, my socks are what I have on today, and they're very dirty. But these are my local yarn store socks. Everything looks, you know, when I show people that these are the same, it's the same three color, or same two colors in all three projects, they don't realize, they don't believe it. That's how everything can change when you're doing the three different colors. So those were the three things that I had done out of those two skeins of yarn that I got. Okay, so the next thing was my next rocket tee, and this was my cotton, 100% cotton rocket tee that I did. This was done with 100% Egyptian cotton from Hobby, and I just wanted to, you know, I wanted the darker color at my face, and I just gradually went down till I ran out, added the next one on, and when I got to the end of that one, I added the gray on as the I-cord around everything. But I wanted to see what it would look like in cotton, a rocket tee. I love it. I'm probably going to this year wash it. Maybe not, and maybe wash it in the washing machine, because it's probably not going to shrink a whole lot now that I've washed it a couple of times. But tumble it on a lower cycle so that it will shrink a little bit, because it is a little on the large size side. And this is one where all of my other wool products I don't wash every time I wear. This is one, since it is cotton, I really have to, because it stretches out so much and it gets really, really big. But everything else that is wool, I don't have to wash it every time I wear it. Okay, the next project that I ended up getting off the needles, and I don't know when I really started it. I know it was after April, because I bought the yarn in April. But I know it was after I finished my first rocket tee, I started the third rocket tee. And this one is another one with the 100% wool. This is made out of Lake Erie, and I can't remember the other colorway by Emma's yarn, but there was two yarns. And this, I ended up alternating every 4 rows, which it's really hard to tell that I did alternate it every 4 rows, because they blend relatively well. They almost look like they did it on their own, that it was a variegated pattern on their own. But this was something that I alternated every 4 rows. This time I did the I-cord on the bottom, and I realized I don't like the I-cord on the bottom, so I will go back to a ribbing on the bottom with the 100% wool. But this was my third my third rocket tee that I did this year. Absolutely love that. I wore that a lot this summer when I went to knit groups and stuff like that. Okay, so the next thing that I got off the needles, not sure when I started it, but I ended up having another scrappy cake, and I wanted to do a tank top. So I ended up doing this tank top using a scrappy cake from Cornbread Honey. It was striped out. I started down here with this color up here, and I ended up having to take this back out and get this back to the very first color here, and that's when I ended up doing the solid pink, which is a color that wasn't even in this. All of these colors were already in there. This pink was not. This is this pink. I had a mini skein, but on the back of it, in that same spot, is a blue solid, because you separate here at the sleeves, and then you do the front up and you do the back up. Well, I started to do the back up, got this far, realized that I'm not going to have enough. That's when I unknitted the bottom of this, the ribbing that I had, put it on a needle and then started with ribbing on the bottom of this and did the ribbing. Used that yarn to, once I got done with that, did the pink here on the front and then did the color up on the side, and I just kept gradually going each one as much as I could till I got them the right length that I needed them to be at the top for that. I had another total mini skein that I used to do my I-cord around the whole neck and body. It didn't call for that, but I like the look of that. It gives me a nice finished look. So I did and added the I-cord myself. I'm liking an I-cord on stuff because to me it gives me a nice finished look for my projects. Okay, I already talked about the 2 sets of socks that I did. The next thing that I had that I got off the needles, and this was definitely in August that I got this off the needles because it was my other tank top that I ended up wearing to a wedding. Got this done, very pretty. I like it. I will probably wear this quite often. I'll put a little tank top underneath it. Not caring that I need, I had a lace one when I went to the wedding, but when I go out, I'll just do a regular solid across the top tank top there, and that will be the end of it. Do like this. I love the way it looks. I don't mind the holes in it as long as I have a tank top underneath it. But yeah, very happy with the way that turned out. And I love that little pattern. And again, that was another eyelet pattern that I learned there as well. Okay, I ended up doing a muscle burl for my son, holding, I believe it was 3 skeins. No, 2 skeins of fingering weight together to get a DK weight muscle burl for my son. He's already got that. I gave that to him a while ago so that he could have it for the winter weather that we were having. So that was another thing that I got done. The next thing that I got off the needles was my Salty Air tee. And again, another t-shirt. This year was the year for me to make and learn how to make clothes for myself, and I absolutely love doing it. And I love learning the new stitches and all of that. The yoke was really fun, and once you got past the yoke, it was just relatively straight knitting. It wasn't very hard at all. And you did most of your sleeves. There was a lot of your sleeves. Once you got the yoke, you still did a lot of the sleeves. I think the only thing I added on was an inch and then the ribbing after I did that, with the sleeves. But there was quite a bit of this put on after I did the yoke. But yeah, very happy with this. This one is another one that I alternated every 2. I had a variegated and then I had a solid. And my solid was from Kimber's, one of my monthly colorways, the bright yellow, like a sunshine yellow, I think it was. And then the other was a variegated that I got from Cornbread Honey. And I just alternated them every 2 rows. They blended very well together. You almost can't tell that they were 2 different skeins. Every now and then you can see, the line if it's brought out. And I pointed out, you can see the line down the back where I ran. I should learn to run it under the sleeve. I don't think about it. Usually I start and stop my beginning of rounds in the back, and that's where it ends up being, is in the back. Okay, so the next thing that got off the needles was my Easy V sweater. This was definitely an ordeal. We did it once, and then we ended up having to redo it because we washed it and felted it together, and then we didn't have it again. But the sleeves are almost a little short, and I do have more material if I wanted to unknit and add on a longer cuff. They come right to here, and I'm okay with that. I usually leave my sleeves pushed up most of the time anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so I have my my Easy V, and I like it. I'm very happy with the way it is. It's a very, very warm sweater. can put it on and not have to worry that I'm going to be cold by any means. Okay, so the next thing I ended up doing was a shift for a friend. And I used 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn that I had a little bit left over, ended up making him a matching hat to go with his shift. And then I ended up doing some hats for the little boys for Christmas. Of course, the hat that I did for Joe was just one of my beanie hats that I like, my favorite beanie that I do. I just ended up putting that on the needles and stitching it out. I did the same for 2 of the little boys, and then the 3rd little boy ended up getting a Musselboro hat and put that out. It was a skein of fingering weight yarn that I had, and I just went ahead and started knitting that out. I also did a hunting orange Musselboro hat for my husband. That is at the moment at Cornbread and Honey to get re-dyed, because I showed you when if you guys had watched that video, when I dried it, I did it in the sun and 1/2 of it faded. So she's graciously enough to re-dye it so that it will be all bright fluorescent orange for next year, and I'll know not to put it out into the sun. The other thing I did for my husband was I made another hunting orange ascot for him. And of course he has these put away for hunting, and I wasn't going to dig for that, but that was one of the last things that I made him this year. Okay, then I ended up getting off the needles my Always Be Brave shawl, and this is one of the newest things that I've had off the needles. This is 2 different skeins. I loved the stitch that I did, like the little eye stitch in there. Really, really fun. Enjoyed doing this. This green color here is Monsters U from Needles at the Ready, and then this solid blue is my monthly Year in Color from Kimber, one of them this year. And then I ended up doing a hat. Holding it double, ran out of the Monsters U, and then just topped it with double stitch of the blue for the cap. Love it. Nice little hat to match my shawl. Again, so when I get dressed up, I have a hat and shawl that match. Okay, so the last couple of things that I did, the last thing that I have here that I got off the needles, let me see if I can't put some of these down. There's a pile on my legs here. Okay, the last thing that I got off the needles, and this took me a while to do, and this was my summer sarong. I had a really hard time with this because of the stitching under the arm. Hair is everywhere, but you know, it's under the arm. It's not that noticeable because it's under the arm. I don't go around with my arm in the air all the time. It would have been very noticeable if it was in the back. This was 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn that I alternated every 4 rows. You can definitely tell that this striked out because they matched, but they didn't match as easy as they would have. They didn't blend as easy as the other skeins that I used all year long. But I don't care. I like the stripe of it. I like the yoke. I like how it looks, and it fits really, really well. I'm very super happy with it. I have not worn it yet because I got it finished in the middle of, well, in November, and it's just a little too cold. It's one of those that'll be my spring sweater that I'll be able to wear and put a nice little shawl on, or maybe over top of my cardigan if I get that done. Okay, so the last thing that I got off the needles, and that was December 5th that I got these off the needles, were some slipper socks, DK weight slipper socks that I made for my sister. Of course, they've already been gifted to her for Christmas. I did Christmas with her last weekend, and so she got her socks last weekend, but that was the last thing that I got off the needles. So I got a total of 34 things finished this year, from starting in January 1st to ending right now as of December 23rd. Hopefully I will be able to get a few more things cleaned off and surpass my goal of 35. I'm only one away from it. So even if I get one of my things finished, I will have met my goal. But I just thought that was a kind of a neat thing in Ravelry to be able to do a challenge, to challenge yourself, to see how much knitting you actually do. When I look at all of this pile of knitting, I did not realize I did all that. I knew I was working on different things, but my pile of knitting, and let me show you if I can get it all. This is my pile of knitting that is mine that I've kept. I've given away quite a few things as well, but this is just my pile of knitting for this year. That's a lot of knitting that I got done, along with working full-time and running the business. So that is definitely a lot of knitting. So for those of you who are wondering, you can work full-time and get some knitting done. But so that is where we're at. Okay, so that's all of the projects that I have. Let's show you my acquisitions that I got, because I got quite a few new acquisitions. Like I said, I have no idea how long this is going to be. Might be a long one this week, but let me show you the acquisitions. Okay, so we had in the first week, in 1st of December, the 14th, we had a Christmas party for our local guild that I'm a member of. And when I went to pick up my friend, my birthday was the week before, and she ended up gifting me this really pretty sock set of self-striping sock set, pumpkin spice latte it's called. Very pretty. I am going to get this caked up today into 2 small cakes, and I am going to cast on this year for Christmas. I'm going to cast on a pair of socks for myself. I only do shorties, so I'm not worried that this is not going to be enough for a pair of shorties for me. I definitely will have plenty of yarn for that. And then one of my other friends gave me this really pretty cake of yarn. When we were there, she told me, she's like, oh, you love this, you'll do something fun with it. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but you know what? There's a lot of solid colors I can put with it to bring out all of those solid colors in there, or I think I might even have stripes of some of these that I could do, like a striped sweater. We'll see. We'll see what we're going to do with that. Who knows? But those are the 2 gifts that I had gifted to me. Okay, let's start with my December Patreon from Cornbread Honey. And this, I got this yesterday. I was out at her shop yesterday. Some dark greens and sage green, three different shades of green to off-white, and speckles of brown and a little bit of orange. Really, really pretty. Can't wait to see what I'm going to use this for. But this was my December Patreon from Cornbread Honey. Okay. In September, I did a collaboration with Kimber of Kimber's Cozy Creations, where I did a wrist bag, one of my fall wrist bags. Do I have one here? It's not fall. It's a Christmas one, but it was very similar to this, but it had a fall theme on it, and it had pumpkins on the inside. So that is what I ended up, part of my contribution to the collab. And she did 2 skeins of DK Weight. Is it DK Weight? Yeah, DK Weight Luxe MCN. And then we also collabed with Charmed and Dangerous for this little cute little charm. So let me take it out of the package, because I think it's going to look so much prettier when it's out of the package. This is her logo. And then this is the cute little charm. Little pumpkin He's got a little hat on his head, and he's holding a little flower. I think it's a little flower, or is it a little pumpkin? No, it's a little blue pumpkin, little turquoise pumpkin. Really cute. So this was part of that package I ended up getting. And this is, I finally got, she got really far behind, and she finally got shipped out everything that she had. And this is the skein of yarn. Got 2 skeins. And it is definitely very, very pretty. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I can easily make myself a hat for sure with one, and maybe a cowl of some sort. There's patterns. When she's finished, she said she would ship me the pattern. The pattern that she has took a little more than 1 skein of DK weight. My beanie that I use doesn't take a full skein of yarn that much, so I know I can easily get a beanie out of this. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. I'll probably do the V-shaped shawl that she has with this, and then I'll end up doing a beanie to match. So those are from that collab. Very, very pretty. Love them. Oranges, turquoise, teals, my colors. I absolutely love that, and I think it's gonna knit out super, super cute. Okay, so then I got my year in color, and I don't know which one's which. I think this one is November, and it is Amethyst. And of course, each one of them gives you a nice little stitch marker in there to match. Put that in my bowl here so I have it. But yeah, very, very bright, pretty purple, solid. And then this one is Indigo, the darkest of them. I'm thinking this is the last one to go. And then we started out with blue. So that was the last of our year in color. And then of course she gave me a little thank you gift of a really cute stitch marker there. Really cute. So I ended up getting that. But yeah, it was super, super fun. I enjoyed my year in color. I got a lot of solid colors that I can actually, I got it in the rainbow. I've got all the colors of the rainbow. I've used some of them. I've actually used quite a few of them in different things. And I'm using 2 in my treasure trove. But yeah, it'll just be nice that I'll be able to add, one of these with a variegated that I have. I have a lot of variegateds, and I really needed some solids, so that is why I chose the solid of these. And I'm super, super happy with all the colors that I got. Wow, guys, I've been talking for a while. My throat's a little dry. That is it for today's video. That is everything that I've gotten. Had to talk about. Yeah, that's it. You guys, I hope you all had a Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. And I will see you guys next year in 2025. Thank you so much for supporting me and watching me this whole year. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate all the support you guys have given Tammy's Homesteading Crafts, and all of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for doing all that. I really appreciate it, and I love coming to you each week from here and telling you, or every 2 weeks, and telling you what I'm working on, showing you my progress. I really, really enjoy it. And if any of you guys have any ideas of different shawls, patterns for all kinds of different things, link them down below. I would love to see what you guys want to, my plan over the next year is to do a lot of different knitting, and I plan on doing a lot of that. And that's what I'm going to talk about really in my first video in 2023 of my knitting goals for this year, what I would like to work on, and setting myself another goal in Ravelry to see what I can accomplish this year. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every one of you, and I will see you on the next one. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you. Bye.